Well, as you can see, egg and dart comes in a whole variety of different types and forms, some very large, some very small. It's a classical moulding, goes right back to Greece and beyond, and nobody really knows what it's about. There's the egg, and there's what we call a dart interspersed. Might be to do with life and death, we don't know. Sometimes it's called an egg and tongue. And what I'm going to show you now is a very simple, quite intimate version of this egg and dart. The sort of thing that could be used in furniture, picture frame, fire surround, that sort of thing. Before I do though, let me just mention my book here, Wood Carving Tools and Equipment, because I've got a written version of this as well, if you'd like to look at that. Here's a simple piece of egg and dart moulding. You can see the eggs here, and in between you have the little darts, like that. I'm going to hold it in this jig that I made for the other mouldings, and let me tell you that the profile for this is a quarter circle, a big quarter circle moulding cut off like that. And what it does is it produces a couple of flats on each end, and these are quite important here and here because they differentiate one moulding from the next. But even more important in some ways is this little part here, this little ledge, which is often called a quirk, because we're going to cut through from there inside the moulding and keep that plane going here. So we do need to have a little step here, yeah, so the moulding doesn't come right up to the top. And I'd also say that that sort of moulding is great for furniture, but if you were doing an architectural carving or something bigger, then the tendency is to stretch this out from the quarter circle to much more of an ellipse. But we're going to deal with the quarter circle at the moment. And let's just have a look at this moulding a bit more clearly. You can see, I think, quite clearly that the pattern repeats. So dot to dot is one unit, and it's repeated here like this. Or egg to egg, it doesn't really matter, but one unit consists of some of that it repeats. And we need to mark out these units first of all. The distance from that dot, which we call an eye, to this line in the middle, this egg in the middle, is the same to here. So this splits this up into halves. So we'll be drawing this out, and we'll also be drawing out this eye line here. This line is quite important, and it's one of the first things we do is to get that line in so that we can judge everything else from it. But let's turn to our carving. I've got a blank piece here, and I'm going to screw it down on each end like this so that I can work on it. The first thing we're going to do is put in this eye line, which is about 1/3 of the way down from the top. What I've done is I've got myself a little template, a little bit of plastic that will make, with a notch in, that will make a little jig for my pencil. So I can just run that along like so. And that will be the eye line. Now to divide this up, the ratio that we want to use is the same as the quadrant, same as the radius of that moulding. So we set that, and we can step it off with dividers like this. There are quicker ways of doing it, but you can use a template or something like that. But really, by the time I've made one, just to demonstrate this, I might as well do this. So we work along there like that. And then I'm going to make a dividing line using another bit of plastic at right angles. And I'll find one of those dots, like so, and mark that down. And the next, like so, all the way along. Here's the units drawn out, and here's the moulding we're going to make. And you can see that the eye here on this one is repeated over here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 divisions between each repeat of the pattern. So the center of the egg is in this one here. So what I would do is I would actually make a note of that with a pencil. We are just going to cut this with our tools, so we don't need to have a template. But I would then go along and make sure I know that is going to be an egg, and then I'd miss a couple, and then I'd do that. Miss a couple and do that. So that I don't get confused as to what I'm cutting. It's very important. And with that, we're ready to start carving.